Niall, let me start with you, because unions say that this is all Sinn Féin's fault, that this vote was bulldozed through by Sinn Féin. Why did you want to push this vote through?
I think it's important to remember, Shuli, that this was a democratic vote taken by a democratically elected institution, i.e. Belfast City Council. The reason that the decision was made by the majority of elected councillors was that, I suppose, in the current reality, in the current post-peace process and in the midst of a political process, is that Belfast City is a changed city. It isn't the city that many of your viewers would remember from their TV screens 10 or 20 years ago. I don't think the violence that we've seen is representative of that broadly, the majority of that new Belfast. So there are many different makeups in the city. There are many of us who affirm our allegiance to the Irish nation and our very legitimate and democratic aspirations to have a united Ireland. But of course there are many new traditions and many cultures who I think make up a great wealth and benefit to the city of Belfast. So the decision to fly the Union flag, and remember the Union flag will...
But the Belfast City Council the leader of Belfast City Council, Jim McVeigh, Sinn Féin councillor, says, you know, he respects British culture, but if you lead a vote against the Union flag, then it's going to be seen as an attack on British culture. Surely that's an obvious thing.
Well, this wasn't a vote against British culture. What this was for was a vote for equality. It was a vote to bring Belfast into the 21st century, and as City Hall is the civic heart of Belfast, not only should it represent all of us, it should also reflect the makeup of Belfast. So the Union flag is flying at Belfast City Hall for designated days. And Sammy's in London. That's currently the procedure over Buckingham Palace. It only flies on designated days. My flag doesn't fly over Belfast City Hall, and the notion that Belfast City Hall doesn't reflect
Belfast City Hall is
the
in the
British
United
or Unionist
Kingdom.
tradition
It's in the United Kingdom, Niall.
But of course it's in a part of what you say the United Kingdom which is still contested and which allows democratically and legitimately and through peaceful, exclusively peaceful means, Republicans to pursue their democratic objectives and those legitimate objectives. And this is about creating a city hall.
Let me bring Sammy in, because I can see that he's... The CBI in Northern Ireland says jobs will be lost because some investors have already pulled out because of the damaging effect that these protests are having on Northern Ireland's image abroad. So, Niall, Sammy is saying that, you know, the blame for this is because Sinn Féin is not listening to the sensitivities that are existing in Northern Ireland.
No, well, 3 points, and I actually resent that implication, because I don't know if Sammy Wilson has been on the ground or any of his party colleagues have been on the ground in East Belfast to try and proactively prevent and challenge those who would be engaged in this trouble. But I have, and I'll continue to play my part on the ground at a cross-community level. But Sammy mentioned the issue of the census, and Sammy's happy to quote those statistics and those demographics, except, of course, when they relate to Belfast. And the reality is that Belfast is a changed city, and the demographics of Belfast have changed significantly from, I suppose, he was Lord Mayor. Last year when I was Lord Mayor, I was very proud and privileged to preside over a city that could attract things like the MTV European Music Awards, the Titanic Centenary celebrations. This year we'll have the World Police and Fire Games, the second biggest participatory sporting event after the Olympics, to be hosted here in Belfast. And that's a good thing, and that's the message that we want to continue to send around the world, that Belfast is a better place. Belfast is a changed city. But I mean, you have a camera crew, Shuli. You have a camera crew at City Hall. Well, I didn't create the trouble, Sammy, and I'm not out on the street protesting at interfaces. Loyalist people are, and Loyalist leaders and Unionist leaders haven't challenged those people. They haven't told us why they're at interfaces. They haven't told us why. No, we didn't create the conditions. The conditions have been created by the change in Belfast City. Which, and let's bear in mind, Sammy, when you were running about the City Hall telling us Belfast says no, thankfully those days are long gone. They're buried in the past, and we have all moved on. And I'd like to think that unionism in its political manifestation would tell the people on the ground protesting at interfaces and give them some positive leadership. Take them into the Belfast of 2013. Now the reality is this, Shuli, you have a camera crew outside Belfast City Hall. I am prepared to go down to Belfast City Hall and take you around that City Hall and show you the symbolism, the imagery, the flags that are flown inside that. I am an Irish citizen. I am an Irish Republican. My first language is the Irish language. The City Hall, by and large, although we have made some very small, modest progress, that City Hall doesn't reflect me and the majority of people like me in Belfast. So we have some way to go, and this is part and parcel of that. But the key thing is about equality. It's about equality of treatment and reflection and representation for all of our citizens, and respecting people who are British and respecting their tradition here, but also respecting those of us who are Irish and those of us who are neither.
Okay, gentlemen, let me bring in some reaction that we've had to this this subject on our Facebook page. Khan Oron says sectarianism and sectarian violence were never gone. They will not end until a full British withdrawal and the establishment of a new political system in Ireland. Clint Derry says these British planters don't belong in Ireland. It's now time to face reality and leave. The Irish natives have spoken. Ireland for the Irish. And Ruari Magorian says nationalists in the north are no longer second-class citizens. That's what unionists and loyalists hate. We will never go back to the days of unionist dominance and oppression.